If you're curious about the mysteries behind Emmanuel Macron's meteoric rise, this fascinating video is a must-watch. We delve deep into the astrological interpretation of his natal chart, uncovering how the alignment of the stars has shaped his decisions, leadership style, and the path that led him to become France's youngest president. You'll discover the cosmic energies that have influenced his personality and the strategic choices that defined his political journey. This video offers a unique perspective, blending astrology and politics in a way you've never seen before. Join us as we go beyond the surface to reveal the true power of the stars in Macron's life. Whether you're an astrology enthusiast or simply intrigued by the intersection of celestial forces and political power, this analysis will captivate and enlighten you. Don't miss out on this deep dive into the cosmic influences that have shaped one of the most significant figures in modern politics. Emmanuel Macron is a French politician who swiftly emerged as a prominent figure in the country's political landscape. Born on December 21, 1977, in Amiens, France, Macron pursued a degree in philosophy before attending the prestigious École Nationale d'Administration, an institution known for producing the administrative elite of France. His academic background set the stage for a promising career in public service, where he first worked as an inspector of finances and later transitioned into the world of investment banking with Rothschild & C, where he gained considerable experience and influence. In 2012, Macron's political journey took a significant leap when he was appointed Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency under President François Hollande's administration. In this influential role, he played a key part in shaping economic policies during a challenging time for the French economy. Just 2 years later, in 2014, Macron was elevated to the position of Minister of Economy, Industry, and Digital Affairs. In this capacity, he championed pro-market reforms aimed at liberalizing the French economy, most notably through the contentious Macron Law, which sought to ease regulations in various sectors and stimulate economic growth. These reforms, while controversial, marked Macron as a reformist leader willing to take bold steps to modernize the French economy. By 2016, Macron had grown disillusioned with the traditional political system and decided to leave the government to establish his own centrist political movement, En Marche. His movement was founded on the principle of transcending the traditional left-right political divide that had long characterized French politics. Macron's 2017 presidential campaign quickly gained momentum with a message of political renewal, a commitment to reform, and strong support for the European Union. His campaign culminated in a decisive victory over the far-right candidate Marine Le Pen, making Macron, at 39, the youngest president in the history of France. Macron's presidency has been marked by a series of significant challenges and bold initiatives. Early in his term, he faced widespread protests from the Yellow Vests movement, which criticized his policies as favoring the wealthy and out of touch with ordinary citizens. Additionally, his leadership was put to the test during the COVID-19 pandemic, where he had to navigate a public health crisis while balancing the economic fallout. Despite the controversies, Macron pushed forward with key reforms, including changes to the pension system and continued efforts to modernize the French economy. In 2022, Macron successfully secured a second term in office, once again defeating Marine Le Pen in a highly watched election. His re-election solidified his status as a central figure in European politics. During his second term, Macron has focused on pressing issues such as ecological transition, strengthening European security in the wake of the war in Ukraine, and continuing his agenda of economic and social reforms. His leadership continues to be a defining force in both French and European political arenas, with his actions and policies closely watched by both supporters and critics alike. Let's delve into how the planets and their alignments have shaped the political destiny of Emmanuel Macron. Astrology, known in India as Jyotish, is a millennia-old tradition practiced for over 6,000 years. This ancient Indian tradition is rooted in Vedic sidereal astrology, which exclusively uses the sidereal zodiac, comprising the 12 zodiac constellations: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Unlike Western astrology, Hindu Vedic astrology does not consider planets beyond Saturn. Its focus is on the celestial bodies visible to the naked eye, the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, as well as the lunar nodes, Rahu and Ketu, which symbolize the head and tail of the dragon. These nodes are associated with complex issues, difficult to diagnose illnesses, undeclared enemies, secrets, and hidden mysteries. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are entirely ignored in this tradition. In Vedic astrology, the birth chart is interpreted as a window into a person's destiny, offering a prophecy that can reveal the life path one is destined to walk. Part 1. Retrograde planets in astronomy. A planet is considered retrograde when it appears to move backward in its orbit as seen from Earth. In astrology, this retrogradation indicates the presence of heavy and complex karmas in an individual's life. When a planet is retrograde in the natal chart, its influence is considered difficult, chaotic, and imperfect. Emmanuel Macron was born with 6 retrograde planets in his birth chart: Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and the phantom planets Rahu and Ketu. Each of these retrograde planets reveals challenging aspects of his personality and destiny. Mercury retrograde indicates inflexibility and stubbornness, a closed mind that resists new ideas. Mars retrograde reveals internalized aggression, expressed in domestic and intimate life, with difficulties in asserting oneself in the external world. Jupiter retrograde points to difficulties in building and maintaining wealth and reputation, with honors coming at a high cost. Saturn retrograde indicates a lack of practical wisdom, with personal values often clashing with those of traditional society. Rahu retrograde represents unrestrained ambitions that may lead to decisions harmful to the collective. Ketu retrograde symbolizes involvement in conspiracies and political intrigues that could damage one's career. Part 2. The 4 elements of astrology. Analyzing the elements in Macron's birth chart reveals striking features of his personality. Fire. With 4 planets in the fire element, Macron exhibits traits of arrogance, rashness, and inflated pride. His moon is in Aries, Saturn in Leo, and both the Sun and Mercury are in Sagittarius, emphasizing a heightened ego. Earth. Only Rahu is in the earth element, in the constellation of Virgo. This suggests a lack of practical sense, difficulties in dealing with concrete and material matters. Air. With Jupiter in Gemini, the reduced presence of the air element indicates a person with limited communication and persuasion skills, facing challenges in connecting with the general public. Water. Mars in Cancer, Venus in Scorpio, and Ketu in Pisces indicate an emotionally volatile and unstable personality, with tendencies toward extremes and exaggerated actions. Part 3. The Chandra Lagna. The moon as ascendant. In Vedic astrology, the Chandra Lagna method places the moon as the ascendant in the birth chart. In Macron's case, the moon is in Aries, in the nakshatra of Bharani, which brings traits of irritability, arrogance, sensuality, vanity, resentment, and irresponsibility. The Sun, in Sagittarius, is in the nakshatra of Mula, governed by Ketu, suggesting pride, instability, manipulation, and health issues. Mercury, also in Sagittarius, indicates a mind oriented toward elitist philosophies, disconnected from the reality of the common citizen. Venus in Scorpio reinforces traits of irony, sarcasm, and a nihilistic outlook, while Mars in Cancer points to repressed anger and internal conflicts, particularly within the family. Jupiter in Gemini reveals a tendency to get lost in details and hesitate when action is needed, while Saturn in Leo suggests a superiority complex. Rahu in Virgo indicates a critical and demanding approach toward subordinates, while Ketu in Pisces depicts a shy and hesitant personality in intimate situations. Part 4. The 12 constellations of the Rashi chart. The Rashi method organizes the constellations into the 12 houses of the birth chart, starting with the ascendant constellation. In Emmanuel Macron's case, the ascendant is in Capricorn, signaling an ambition that led him to build a successful career early on, culminating in his rise as a representative of the Rothschild family. The Sun, in Sagittarius, reflects the fame and support Macron received within aristocratic and business circles. The conjunction of the Sun with Mercury in the nakshatra of Mula, governed by Ketu, reveals political tendencies wrapped in manipulation and conspiracy. The Sun, in the 12th house, indicates secrets, hidden plots, and a heavy karma. The conjunction with Venus suggests manipulation and inconsistency, while the opposition to Jupiter points to excessive spending and a lack of success in diplomatic and military areas. The trine between the Sun and Saturn, however, indicates solid support from powerful figures. The Moon, in Bharani, reflects destructive and manipulative tendencies, while Venus, in exile, indicates a distorted love for conflict and luxury. A combust Mercury reinforces Macron's stubbornness and inflexibility, hindering his ability to listen to and consider advice. Mars, in Cancer, is in its weakest position, indicating insecurity, fear, and disastrous military decisions. Jupiter, in exile, suggests a fragile mind, focused on empty conversations without substance. Saturn, in Leo, in the 8th house, reinforces the lack of descendants and potential heart problems, as well as insecurity regarding one's sexuality. Defeat for the right in the recent 2024 legislative elections in France, President Emmanuel Macron suffered a significant political defeat. Despite being a prominent figure in French politics and his early strategy of calling elections right after the setback in the European Parliament elections, Macron's party faced a sharp decline in popularity. In the first round, his party, which previously held 169 seats, secured only around 70 seats, placing third behind the left and the far right. The far right, led by Marine Le Pen, garnered 33% of the votes in 2024, marking a notable advance compared to previous results. However, even with this historic performance, Le Pen's party still faces resistance from a large portion of the electorate, preventing them from securing an outright majority in the National Assembly. This opposition led to the formation of the so-called Republican Front, an alliance of parties from various ideologies united to block the rise of the far right. With Macron's decline and the rise of the far right, France's political future now appears uncertain. The possibility of Jordan Bardella, a 28-year-old, becoming Le Pen's prime minister adds further complexity to the scenario, especially as he rejects forming coalitions if he does not achieve the necessary majority. This situation could lead to a deadlocked parliament with no clear leadership, increasing difficulties for Macron until the end of his term in 2027. Bardella, the leader of the National Rally RN party, which finished second behind the New Popular Front NFP in the recent parliamentary elections, warned Macron about the danger of appointing a prime minister from the left-wing coalition. "We expressed our position to him, which remains unchanged," Bardella said after the meeting. The New Popular Front represents a threat to public order, civil peace, and, of course, the economic life of the country. Whoever Macron appoints as prime minister will face a daunting task, with the approval of the 2025 budget being one of the many challenges at a time when France is under pressure from the European Commission and bond markets to reduce its fiscal deficit. The question of who will become the prime minister, and whether they can secure the support of a hesitant parliament for any reforms, remains unresolved, with no sign yet of a broader coalition that would command a stable majority. The uncertain future. Pluto's transit over Macron's ascendant Emmanuel Macron is currently going through the most challenging period of his life, largely due to the transit of Pluto over his ascendant. This phase is not just difficult, but is perhaps the most adversarial and testing time he has ever faced in both his personal life and political career. Pluto is a heavy and karmic planet, symbolizing not only death and rebirth, but also the unresolved issues from past lives that require attention and correction in the present. When Pluto is involved, it often brings complex problems to the surface, including ostracism, loss of power and popularity, depression, anxiety, fear, diseases that are difficult to diagnose, hidden enemies, secrets, conspiracies, and deeply buried mysteries. Macron's popularity and charisma are at an all-time low. His speeches and ideas seem out of sync and disconnected, failing to resonate with both the younger generation and the older demographic. This disconnection is a significant issue as it leaves Macron appearing displaced and lost, eroding his public support and weakening his leadership capabilities. It is highly unlikely that Macron will be able to keep his career and reputation intact during this transit of Pluto over his ascendant. Pluto, being a generational planet, is often associated with themes like control, authoritarianism, dictatorship, mass manipulation, and an overwhelming desire for power. When Pluto crosses a person's ascendant, it exposes all the pains, vulnerabilities, insecurities, and traumas hidden in the subconscious. It brings karmic and cyclical crises that can hit a person like a Richter scale earthquake, necessitating a complete reconstruction of both their internal and external persona. The downside is that Pluto, as a generational planet, also indicates widespread dissatisfaction among an entire generation of young people regarding the leader's persona. It highlights the disconnect between Macron's discourse and actions and the concerns of the older population, who are primarily worried about their pensions, medications, and healthcare. Macron may come across as cold, insensitive, and out of touch with the everyday struggles of ordinary people. Given this, it seems improbable that Macron will manage to preserve his image and reputation during this intense period. However, if Emmanuel Macron somehow manages to salvage his political career from being completely shattered and remains in the game, he could experience a renaissance. From July 29, 2027, when he will be nearly 50 years old, until July 29, 2043, when he turns 65, Macron could live the happiest 16 years of his life. This period, governed by Guru Jupiter in the Vimshatari Dasha system of Vedic astrology, is associated with luck, success, and glory. The Vimshatari Dasha represents the major periods of life according to Vedic astrology. Vedic astrology divides human life into 9 periods, known as Vimshatari Dashas. These periods illustrate the ups and downs, victories and defeats, and overall fortune or misfortune a person may experience throughout their lifetime. Thank you so much for watching our video on the Astropolitics channel. Your presence truly means the world to us. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below and share your impressions about the video, as well as your views on Emmanuel Macron and French politics. Your participation is crucial in enriching our discussions, and we're eager to read your comments and continue this conversation in our upcoming videos.